You've probably noticed, but with each new year and as celebrities, particularly those from Hollywood, gain more access to the public through social media platforms like Twitter, the number of scandals they become a part of only increases. Stay tuned because whether saying cringe-inducingly uninformed statements, falling down the rabbit hole of political activism, or destroying entire companies, these celebrities have made into part 2 of our top 10 celebrity scandals and Hollywood controversies of 2023. So let's get into it. Number 10, Whoopi Goldberg. Okay, so technically this one happened right at the end of 2022, but most of the fallout carried into 2023, which doesn't make it any less embarrassing for Whoopi Goldberg, who's increasingly tone-deaf, continues to land in hot water. This one surely will go down in infamy, but just for the sake of politeness, we'll try to keep it tame. Goldberg, a colossal activist, made a gigantic mistake in December of making comments about Jewish people during the Second World War, claiming that the Jewish victims were largely white and their tragic erasure was not about race. The official Twitter account of the Auschwitz Memorial Museum soon after commented, posting several comments made by the big bad of WW2 regarding the subject in 1919, which were littered with the term race. Whoopi, of course, managed to apologize without ever really apologizing, which is how most of these things go down. Somehow, she still gets work. Number 9, Don Lemon. Don Lemon has always been a controversial figure through his tenure at CNN, but when the pundit was unceremoniously canceled just a few weeks ago at the time of this video, many looked at his most recent boneheaded comment regarding potential Republican U.S. presidential candidate Nikki Haley. Instead of attacking Haley over policy, Lemon, on stage with 2 women at the time, decided to attack Haley's claims that older politicians should be forced to take mental competency tests, something that has become an increasingly popular opinion over the last decade. Lemon then went on to say that Haley herself, as a 51-year-old, is past her prime. He continued, "Nikki Haley is not in her prime. Sorry, a woman is considered to be in her prime in her 20s and 30s and maybe 40s. Lemon clearly forgot that there is a minimum age for consideration of the US presidency, which is 35, but he also seemed to forget that any negative comment about a woman in 2023 will be labeled as a misogynist. Bye, Lemon, it was fun. Number 8, Johnny Depp. Between his marriage destruction with Amber Heard and ensuing defamation cases, Johnny Depp is no stranger to controversy. This one is really his opportunity to bite back, though. It'll surely make a few powerful producers very upset. Recently, Depp made his return as an actor, appearing in the Cannes Film Festival to promote his upcoming appearance as King Louis XIV in French film, Jean du Barret. Asked about his ousting from Hollywood and his controversial appearance at Cannes, one that, given his total victory over Heard in 2022, shouldn't be controversial at all, Depp simply replied, "I don't feel boycotted by Hollywood because I don't think about Hollywood. They must fall in line with the person in front of them. If you want to live that life, I wish you the best." Oof, that's gotta sting. Number 7, Brie Larson. Continuing from Depp, another person who is no stranger to controversy is Brie Larson, who was recently at Cannes as well, as a judge. Larson is infamous for making negative public comments about her males regarding Time's Up and acting very negatively in interviews and on sets, which has caused her career to stall somewhat. But in this case, she was asked to weigh in on Johnny Depp's Cannes situation, and in total surprise, she didn't at all take the bait. When asked for her opinion on it, she sheepishly replied, "I'm sorry, I don't understand the correlation, or why you're asking me specifically." This, for someone like Larson, has caused some controversy as her haters begin to soften their position on her. Number 6, Keanu Reeves. Keanu Reeves in a controversy? Surely not. He's the internet's darling. Well, he has recently come out against deepfake technology and its potential use in the movie industry, citing that he thinks it's scary for actors. He stated, "You lose your agency. When you give up a performance in film, you know you're going to be edited, but you're participating in that. If you go to deepfake land, it has none of your points of view." He also stated that his contracts include clauses that prohibit deepfake and other types of digital editing. This has courted some contrary opinions on the matter, as you'd most likely expect, most notably from number 5, Tom Hanks. Tom Hanks, once another Hollywood darling, has certainly had his share of controversy over the last few years, not least when he moved to Greece suddenly, following that news and fallout about a certain island that we shouldn't name. Hanks recently came out against Keanu's position on the Adam Buxton podcast, saying, "If I wanted to, I could get together and pitch a series of 7 movies that would star me in them, which I would be 32 years old from now until Kingdom Come." He also claimed that deepfake tech could keep his performances going after he dies. It kind of proves Keanu's point. Number 4, Halle Bailey. Disney is about the most controversial company in the world right now, and for many reasons. Recently, the live-action adaptation of The Little Mermaid has been garnering massive controversy for their race swapping of Ariel in a film adaptation of a Danish book. Since Denmark is one of the historically whitest places on Earth, this casting choice was met with fierce Puritan backlash. It doesn't help that her sisters are different ethnicities in the movie either, but that's not the least thing. At a recent interview in Mexico, a reporter complimented Ariel's actress, Hailey, by attempting to reassure her that no one was looking at her skin color during the movie. Bailey decided to see them as racist. She has now complained to Disney for taking her to Mexico in the first place. Good luck to that movie. Number 3, Philip Schofield. Once the darling of the British TV industry, Philip Schofield has fallen on hard times after a long career. It hasn't helped that rumors about his now former This Morning co-host Holly Willoughby being absolute enemies behind the scenes. It's become even worse since his brother was jailed for abusing a teenage boy. Schofield then separated from his wife and came out as gay. Recently, in what many are seeing as a defensive preemptive move, he's resigned from his role at This Morning, Britain's TV morning breakfast show. It's anyone's guess what's to come next. Number 2, Kathleen Kennedy. Back to Disney then, and this one is a fall of a dynasty. In 2012, George Lucas, creator of Star Wars and Indiana Jones, amongst others, promptly sold his company Lucasfilm to Disney, and what has followed is nothing short of a series of monumental train wrecks that would swallow most companies whole. Lucas installed former producer on his movies Kathleen Kennedy as the head of Lucasfilm, but Kennedy, a hardline feminist activist, then proceeded to oversaturate the market in Star Wars content that disrespected his characters at best, killed them off at worst, and supplanted them with a never-ending list of all-powerful female replacements, much to the chagrin of fans. After Han Solo's prequel, Solo, became the first Star Wars movie to lose money, The Rise of Skywalker was hated by everyone. Lucasfilm stepped away from making movies in the universe and instead created a factory line of safe, bland TV shows instead. But now it seems they're going to repeat their old mistakes with their other huge IP, Indiana Jones and the Dial of Destiny, a movie that sees its title character, a broken old man, being led around by a hyper-confident and overly competent young woman. The fans and critics are united against these choices, so if Kathleen Kennedy thinks this is how to save a now struggling company, she's gonna have to think again. Number 1, Harry and Meghan. Prince Harry and Meghan Markle have to be two of the most disliked people in the world since 2023. Not only did they leave the royal family and begin acting like their lives, that of literal prince and a C-list actress in Hollywood, were somehow bad, but they began making self-obsessed documentaries about themselves, and all of this culminated in an autobiography by Harry which threw his family under the bus and misrepresented almost everything in a light that makes Harry and Meghan look totally virtuous. They've even been parodied by South Park, a badge of dishonor for anyone, as they travel the world appearing on television while claiming they just want privacy. But worst of all is the last couple of weeks. They actually made up a story about being in a high-speed chase with paparazzi for 2 hours in New York. Something not only impossible due to traffic, but also a horrifying reminder of the exact events that saw Harry's own mother die tragically in 1997. Is there no depth this couple won't sink to for recognition while simultaneously claiming they just want to be left alone? Who knows? There are a lot of ways celebrities can embarrass themselves, and these are the 10 worst that we can imagine so far this year. But what do you think?